Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Metropolis Radio, and today we are going to be talking about the Halo TV show for the 10 of you that actually watched that show. Okay, I know I may be way underselling it. There may be a lot more, but you get my point. Personally, I stopped watching that show right after the first episode came out because I thought it was just god awful. But apparently the one of the co-creators of the video game series came out and blasted the show. And I found this out from this article here from Game Rant. Halo video game creator blasts the Paramount Plus show. The Halo TV series is not beloved by everyone. Well, no shit. And some fans of the video games have complaints, and the creator of the franchise does too. Well, yeah, because if you watch the first episode, it's pretty antithetical to the actual games themselves. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. While the Halo series on Paramount Plus has been mostly a critical success, there's a difference between being a critical success and being an audience success. Just saying. It hasn't been universally beloved since it launched. It turns out that now one of the most vocal critics of the series is actually the co-creator of the Halo franchise. It doesn't actually come as any real surprise that there are some people who haven't been happy about the direction the Halo series has taken. Right at the top of the list of reasons people have been unhappy with is that Master Chief has taken off his helmet. Of course, there are other things the fans of the video game franchise have a problem with, including the direction that the story has taken in its first season. Those who aren't happy about the story include one of the people responsible for creating Master Chief and the Covenant in the first place. And I will say, Master Chief taking off his helmet was really, really unnecessary, and one of the biggest reasons I stopped watching the show. Actually, I almost gave up in the first 20 minutes after they're on that first planet. I don't even remember what planet they were on, but you had that chick that was shooting the Arbiter with the chain gun on the back of the Warthog, and it was having like no effect. And then Master Chief comes along, unhooks it, and just kills him within a couple of seconds. Complete utter bullshit. And I know I only watched the first episode, so I have no idea how the rest of the show even played out. I don't know how they introduced Cortana. I saw that like in the first episode she was like a sentient being. Did they actually develop her into the full AI? I personally don't know. Someone will probably correct me down in the comments. But anyway, Marcus Leto, the co-creator of the Halo franchise, finally made his feelings about the series known just ahead of the Halo series season finale. In taking to Twitter, Leto said he didn't understand where the inspiration for the show came from. He added that whatever that inspiration did come from, it was, quote, not the Halo I made. Leto's comment came in a Twitter thread discussing the show and how much different it seemed from what people who are dedicated to the franchise expected to see. And here is his actual tweet right here. It's very, very short. Yeah, I'm not sure where the inspiration for the show comes from now, not the Halo I made. That particular thread was not remotely complimentary of the show. Nah. Next thing you're going to tell me is that the sky is blue and the grass is green and the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Color me fucking shocked. In fact, most of the people in the thread were not only blasting the program, but going after anyone who actually liked it. Yeah, welcome to every fandom ever. You know, even Star Wars fans go after each other. Star Trek fans have gone after each other since 1979, since the release of Star Trek the Motion Picture. But yeah, still, you know, if you're gonna include that as a net negative in this article, it's like, yeah, whereas in fact most of the people in the thread were not only blasting the program but going after anyone who actually liked it. Yeah, like I said, guys, welcome to any fandom ever, whether it's in real life or on the internet, whatever. It's likely that people behind the Halo series are not going to be happy to see Leto's comments, considering the reverence fans of the video game series have for the co-creator. There are people who might even be okay with the show who will turn against it because Leto has weighed in against it. Now wait a minute. I remember reading an article back in Variety just before the show came out that said that like no one behind the show even played the video game. So guys, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pause the recording real quick. I'm gonna go see if I can find it. It'll only probably take me a couple of minutes. But instead of doing this live like some other people, I'm gonna go ahead, pause the recording, come back real quick. All right, that took me a little longer than anticipated, but I finally found it. I knew about the Variety article. I just couldn't remember exactly where the quote was, but I did find it. The season 1 showrunner Stephen Kane said, quote, "We didn't look at the game. We didn't talk about the game. We talked about the characters and the world. So I never felt limited by it being a game." So going back to this article here, of the whole thing of there are people who might have been okay with the show who will turn against it because Leto weighed in against it. Well, you have the showrunner admit before the show even came out that he never played the game, he never looked at it, he never cared about it. So who was this? What was this Halo show made for? Because if you were trying to appeal to the video game fans, your showrunner pretty much threw that baby out with the bathwater before the first episode even premiered, by basically admitting that he didn't look at the game, he didn't talk about it, and probably had no interest. I don't know if he had any interest, but just taking his words from an interview, he probably had absolutely no interest in actually, playing the game and learning the lore. So obviously the video game fans are out. It was made for the casual audience. Well, who in the casual audience is going to really know what Halo even is? Halo was a big series. It was a pretty big series in the early 2000s, but let's be honest, the last major Halo game to release was Halo Reach all the way back in 2012. Other than that, the new king of the mountain in terms of first-person shooters is Call of Duty. So actually going back to Halo, I think the last time Halo had any mainstream relevance, believe it or not, was probably the release of Halo 3. Before Halo 3 ODST, I'm trying to remember. Okay, Halo 2, Halo 3 ODST, and then I believe Halo Reach was immediately after that. I'm not including Halo Wars, and I think that's what's throwing me off. But yeah, I believe Halo 3 was the last time that the Halo series had any mainstream relevance. And then a little game called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare came around and pretty much knocked Halo off the top of the mountain and has not left ever since. So you can use the casual argument with me. However, like I said, Halo hasn't really had any mainstream relevance for the last 15 years. But anyway, on the other hand, it appears that Paramount is dedicated to taking the show wherever the people behind the story want to take it. The streamer has already renewed Halo for Season 2 and did so before the first season even premiered. So far, the reaction to the series has indeed been decidedly mixed, with critics mostly seeing the series from a positive point of view and fans of the video game franchise not liking it at all. With one episode left of the first season, I believe as of the uploading of this, it already came out. It's a safe bet that the showrunners are hoping the finale can turn negative opinions around. I'm pretty sure the people behind the Book of Boba Fett thought the exact same thing, and look how well that went. Anyway, guys, I wanna address this real quick. Right at the top of the list of reasons people have been unhappy with the series is that Master Chief has taken off his helmet. For those of you guys that have never played the Halo games, and why is everyone complaining about Master Chief taking off his helmet? It's quite simple. If you've ever played the games, Master Chief himself is not a character, right? Master Chief is akin to Doom Guy, right? It's just a character that you play. You go around and you shoot a bunch of aliens. Well, in the case of Doom, you're dropped on Mars and you go around, shoot a bunch of demons, and you just go from one room to the next. Halo was the exact same way. It was a nameless, faceless character. Master Chief was a nameless, faceless character that you played. It first starts off with the Covenant, with the Covenant boarding the ship, and then all of a sudden you crash land onto one of the Halo rings, and then you go nuts and you kill a bunch of the Covenant. And I know the story to the first Halo game is a little more complex than that, but that's just the general gist of it. Master Chief himself was never a character. The only character interaction that you got, the only real character that you had in Halo was Cortana. So by having the decision to have Master Chief remove his helmet, you're attempting to give a character arc to a character that was never intended to have a character arc to begin with. In fact, the entire time I'm watching the first episode, my first thought is, where is Cortana, and why isn't Cortana talking to Chief? you know, that's what really threw me off for the first episode. And then yeah, the minute he took off his mask, I said, that's it. I'm done. This is not Halo. Because if they're not even going to respect that, if they're not even going to acknowledge that Master Chief is basically just Doom Guy, then what else are they willing to ignore? Quite frankly, that just wasn't for me. And clearly, even the co-creator of Halo absolutely fucking hated it based on his tweet alone. But for those of you guys who have watched the show, let me know what you think down in the comments. Is it a better show if you've never played the games? Because I think that's the real sticking point here, is that what I'm noticing is people who have never played the games actually enjoy the show, and people who have been playing the games from, you know, the very first one that came out, Halo Combat Evolved in 2001, absolutely fucking despise it. But I'm going to go ahead and leave that up to you guys. I'm never going to give a review of this show. Like I said, I gave up after the first episode, and I have no desire to go back. I know there's going to be a season 2, but in my opinion, big whoop-de-fucking-do. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it right here because I know I've probably gone on way longer than I needed to. So, guys, if you stuck around this long, thanks so much for doing so. And if you've been following me long enough, you know I'm terrible at ending these videos, so I'll just see you guys next time.